What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a dump to the downside here. So I wanted to jump on and give you guys a quick market update, show you the next key levels that I'm looking at to the downside. We'll go over my short position and we'll talk about what I'm looking at next here for Bitcoin. Are we about to get a bigger breakdown towards about $115,000 to $112,000? Or can we hold support on this key level that we're tapping right now? I'm going to answer all these questions in today's video, and we'll also take a look at Ethereum. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and if you have been keeping up with the channel, you will know that as we got this push into new all-time highs, we were also looking for a potential fake out, looking for a drop to the downside here for some kind of a correction, and that has obviously come into play here. And you guys can see here in the premium Discord, we were looking for price to come up and give us some kind of a swing failure pattern up here above the highs. We actually did get that to play out perfectly. I did take that short position personally here on that first 15-minute SFP. Unfortunately, very quickly after that, I did get stopped out before price rejected. I tried to trade the stop hunt, and then my stop hunt trade got stop hunted. But I did actually enter another position here on some retracements. But we did have that set up here in the premium Discord, looking for price to get a drop down for a potential move all the way down to the value area low. And if we pull up the chart here, you can see I took that SFP up here, got the drop back down. I did enter again on these retracements, and we did get that drop all the way through that volume profile that we were looking at here down towards our 786 value area low, and we got that to play out very nicely. And when we were looking at this position on the live stream, I was talking about how I was hoping for some kind of a retracement into some local retracement levels to add to my position so I can at least beef up that position size because it was very small as I only took a partial entry up here. And what happens? We get that bounce into the value area low for another beautiful full rotation of the volume profile directly into our golden pocket retracement, where I did end up adding a little bit more to my position, and I am holding this position over on Femex up about $1,400 as of right now. But the question is, guys, is this going to continue? And if it does continue, what levels are we bouncing off of here right now? And is it going to hold, or are we going to get a much bigger drop down to about $115,000 to $112,000? Well, that's what I want to go over in this video. And if you guys watch the live stream, you will know I wasn't interested in any significant trades down here towards the value area low. The only thing I was really interested in here, I did not take this position, but the only thing I was interested in were some potential scalp positions within this volume profile, being very careful around that golden pocket, because with our 2-hour money flow trending to the downside here, it gives us that anticipation of a potential lackluster bounce to the upside to put in a lower high and a new potential lower low, which we have now just done. And we know that if that lower high is going to come in, it is very likely to come in towards that golden pocket 786 retracement, and we have now seen that to become a reality. And the first level of support I was interested in down here was the value area high golden pocket confluence, which was also confluent with our anchored VWAP pulled from the low here. And you can see we perfectly tapped into this anchored VWAP, and we are now getting a little bit of a bounce. But when it comes to the continuation of this trend, guys, I do have to say we are tapping support. We hit that anchored VWAP, we hit the golden pocket, we hit the value area high. This is very, very important support in my opinion, because if we are unable to hold this zone, I would be looking at this as acceptance into our previous value area below, which you all know, just like up here, if we get stuck under this value area, we're going to look for that full rotation down to the low. Even on those retracements back into the high, this is resistance. With money flow coming out, we look for that full rotation back down to the low, and we do get it, right? So it's the same kind of theory down here. If we wind up losing this anchored VWAP value area high, and we also do have a daily naked point of control sitting in this zone at about 119,186. This is that overall zone of support that I've been interested in. And just below that daily MPOC, we have the 786 sitting at about $118,800. This is the zone that 100% I want to hold if we are not going to see that bigger correction down towards the point of control, and maybe even potentially fill that range in full to the value area low. And this does come in at about $112,000. So nice that we tapped this anchored VWAP. However, again, money flow indicates the overall trend. We took a look at this last night on the live stream, guys. This is what was making me anticipating the potential continuation down here. Money flow very, very rarely lies. And you have the 2-hour money flow trending to the downside. You also have the 3-hour money flow starting to come to the downside here. This could indicate a bigger retracement to the downside. Now, I would not view this as an extremely bearish case where, the bear market is coming in if we lose this level, because obviously we do still have some of our higher time frame money flow coming into the green here. But guys, if we lose this level of support, I want to talk about kind of a little bit more of the bearish case. If we get accepted, and I'm going to get rid of these intermediary levels, if we simply get accepted into this profile, I will be looking for a bigger drop down, first stopping off at the POC of the range, sitting at 117,722. And if we get a loss of this point of control, I will be looking down to potentially fill this range in full to about $112,183. It's right on that value area low. And then the honorable mention here, because when we look at this from a simple Fibonacci standpoint and we pull our fib all the way from the low all the way to the high, we could just be coming down for some kind of a golden pocket retracement for the overall continuation of the trend, right? So if we come on down to that golden pocket or 786, there is still an opportunity to put in a higher low before continuing the bigger trend to the upside here. And that is where these levels are coming from, right? It's just a simple golden pocket 786 retracement. And I am a bit more interested in this 786 because it will give us that full fill of the volume profile. But I have to point out this golden pocket because you do have daily MPOC confluence on there at about 114,411. But at the end of the day, I always do like to eventually see the full fill of that range. So these are the next biggest levels of support, guys. This right here, we got to hold this. If we don't hold this, I'm going to be expecting that bigger drop through the range, as we've looked at on the live stream many a times. And this would not really make me super, super nervous. It's not until we start losing this value area low 786 zone that I would be looking at that as a much, much bigger sign of weakness to point towards a potentially bigger drop down below $107,000. If we lose that value area high at $107,000, guys, that is going to be much more bearish for Bitcoin in my own personal opinion. And luckily, if that does happen, we are short here pretty much from the top. But I did just want to bring up these key levels of support with you guys. We looked at that money flow coming out yesterday. Although we did have some mixed signals on our lower time frame money flow, this 45-minute looked like it may have wanted to cross into the green, but very simply put, we did not see that happen. The higher time frame money flow was coming out. So at that point, guys, we are simply expecting a lackluster bounce for lower highs and lower lows. And we are seeing that continue. So if this money flow continues to leak out on the 2-hour, on the 3-hour, and even on the 4-hour, attempting to come to the downside here, guys, this could be an early warning sign that we're looking for a bit of a bigger retracement. But again, nothing to worry about just yet. We still could come down and play with these levels and still be in the clear for higher prices to come. But once we get down there, absolutely critical support in my own personal opinion. And as you guys know, I am also holding my long position here from about $111,000. I have about $6,140 locked in. Still got about $4,700 unrealized. So I am still sitting in this position. I may even take a little bit more profit off if we get another retracement to the upside. But simply just playing this level to level, guys. We have been waiting for this level. And I know sometimes when you get the front run and the bounce to the upside, it can get a little nerve-wracking. Like, oh my God, I thought we were supposed to come down to our key level here. Why are we bouncing? But that money flow keeping you on the right side of the trades here, giving me the confidence to add to that position at the golden pocket for the bigger drop to the downside. So we're bouncing here. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We still got to get out of this volume profile above this 786 to see any kind of real strength come in for new all-time highs. And until then, I'm going to be viewing this as our major key level of support. Lose that 786 at about $118,800. I will be looking for that bigger drop down. So nice read on money flow there, guys. Money flow very rarely lies. And when you're looking to stay on the right side of the trend, this is one of the most powerful tools that you can look at to understand if you should be shorting the lower highs or looking for massive longs for new all-time highs. And obviously that money flow is coming out, giving me the confidence to add to that short position. So we'll see if we can get the bounce here from that anchored VWAP, literally getting tapped to the dollar. But those are the key levels that I'm looking at down below. And when we take a look at our 80-minute money flow, this is now crossed over into the red. 90-minute also starting to come down here, looking to cross over into the red. And as we were looking at this daily red dot a couple days ago, we thought this was going to give us a little bit of a drop to the downside. And it indeed did wind up doing that. And after that daily red dot, guys, very clearly this 2-day VWAP is coming down, which could be following suit. I use the example of like swimming in the ocean. Sometimes you'll get crashed by a wave. If you've ever swam in the ocean at the beach, you'll get crashed over by a wave. You're underwater. You finally find the surface and you're like, oh my God, I was going to drown, right? And as soon as you take that first breath, that second wave comes and hits you and pushes you further down into the water. That's kind of how I look at these daily and 2-day red dots. Daily red dot gives you the first push down, and then you could go for that retracement before eventually seeing that 2-day red dot print, pushing you even lower. So I'm going to be viewing it like that, guys, especially with the money flow coming out here. If that 90-minute crosses over into the red, we will be anticipating the continuation of that trend. So hopefully we can hold this level, guys, but we lose this 786. I will be looking for that bigger drop down just to have you guys prepared in case that drop does continue down. Until then, we can just look at this local volume profile If we can get accepted back in here, maybe we can get another push into the range. I will still be looking at that as lackluster bounces, lower highs and lower lows. It's really not until we start cracking back out of this volume profile that I will be looking for that bigger move to the upside. So we'll see what happens here. And before I let you guys go, I want to try to keep this one nice and quick, but I did just want to take a look here at Ethereum because we also looked at this on the live stream last night, seeing exactly what we were looking for play out. You guys can see we came up into that value area high with a nice deviation showing us that this was overvalued price based off the previous price action. And when you see this, guys, the next likely place for price to go once you get back into that volume profile is going to be the POC of the range. And you can see Ethereum tapping that POC perfectly. So this is right on track as well. And when we look at our money flow here, it is looking very, very similar to Bitcoin. 1 hour money flow in the red, 2 hour money flow trending to the downside here, looking for a potential crossover. So yes, we are at support. Yes, you can see bounces, but if this money flow is going to continue trending to the downside, which has been a bit hard to identify just because of the choppiness here, but generally, if this does continue to trend out, guys, lower highs and lower lows are going to be the thing to look for, in my opinion, to potentially fill this range in full towards our golden pocket value area low, sitting at 42.02 and 41.43. And it's just the simple power of these volume profiles, guys, that are absolutely magical. Every time we deviate above these highs, if the money flow is pointing in the right direction, once you get accepted back into the range, that next stop is going to be the POC, and you can get pretty choppy price action, but eventually you're going to look to go to that low, deviate the low, get back in, flip the POC, back to the high, deviate the high, back into the range. You can't get out. You're looking for that point of control in the value area low, and then once again, you get above the value area low, another full rotation of the profile, and here we are potentially repeating the same thing once again. So for Ethereum, the next key level of support I will be looking at, if we do not hold this POC, is just simply expecting that fulfill the volume profile down here between about 4,200 and 41.46. Similar to Bitcoin, if we are unable to reclaim, if we do come down here, we're unable to reclaim this value area low, guys, and we start breaking down out of this range, the next big level of support I will be looking at is going to be sitting down here at about 35.30 on our macro value area high. We really do not want to get accepted back into this range, guys. If we cannot hold this and we get the rejection from this volume profile and we come down here, we do not want to get stuck back in here because we could be at risk of getting accepted back into this profile. And yes, we do have support a little bit higher up in this profile, but at the end of the day, just keeping it nice and simple, the volume profile levels here, our value area high, 35.40, and then once we get below that, POC sits all the way back down here at 2,300. Now, I'm not calling for a $2,300 Ethereum. I just want to explain to you guys kind of the context here. I'd be okay coming down, retesting the high, and then hopefully getting another move up. But once you get accepted in here, we got to start looking at some lower levels because I do not want to get accepted back into this profile. Again, it doesn't mean it's all over. We have some key levels of support. Even if you pull your golden pocket here from the low all the way to the high, you have a golden pocket at about 32.18. But again, we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. Right now, the range to look at here is the local range, and we are currently bouncing off that point of control. So it's just the money flow, guys. When we try to identify this, right? Like anytime money flow is coming out, if you watch the channel at all, right? Like this is going to make me anticipate the continuation of the downtrend. Money flow indicates the overall trend every single time. Even back here, you can see money flow. We get stuck in the range. Money flow is crossing into the red. What happens? We can't get out. POC, value area low. So I'm going to be looking at this, just treating it as a simple volume profile. And if anything changes here, I'll keep you guys updated on the channel. I would say personally, to get out of this mess here in the volume profile, we kind of just have to break back out of the range. Your 786 of this entire move sits at about 46.54. So we really got to get a bounce off this POC, get above the 786, hold on top of the value area high before looking for a bigger move up. Until then, we could see some bounces here, some corrections, some turbulence. But at the end of the day, I would have to say that the higher probability based off money flow at this point, until something changes, the higher probability is going to be to look for that fulfill of the range. So we'll take another look at this on the live stream tonight. Hopefully we can hold this level of support, but just be very careful on these moves up with that money flow coming out, guys. You got to get back inside this range and really got a lot of work to do to get back up here. So hopefully, I'm never rooting for price to go down here, guys. I talked about this last night on the live stream. I want Bitcoin to go up. I want Ethereum to go up just as much as the next guy. But again, this money flow, not only can help us identify the direction, but can also help us capitalize on those short positions, right? If price is going to go down and I can make some money here on the day, I am totally okay looking for that price to come down. So keep an eye on those key levels, guys. Lose 118.8. I'm going to be looking for that bigger drop down, but until then, we'll see if we can hold this level of support. And like I said, if anything changes, I will keep you guys updated here on the live stream later tonight. And with all that being said, that's all the time I got for today's market update. Pray for Bitcoin and hope that money flow somehow just scams back out into the green. But luckily, as traders, the Candle Mafia makes money whether price goes up or down. So it kind of makes these dumps feel a little bit better because at least we're making a little bit of money. That's all the time I got for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
At the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide.